Critique Huo Yuhao. Fine, this fellow seems to have no issues on the surface, but he seems like a dog controlled by Tang-san. But as the saying goes, those who are pitiable must have something hateful about them. Could it be that Huo Yuhao has no issues at all? In reality, Huo Yuhao is just a spirit master with good luck, possessing luck and talent, but in terms of character and his actions, he has far too many problems. Let's critique him one by one in chronological order. This fellow Huo Yuhao is not only brainless, but his personality is also just so-so. Huo Yuhao was born into the Dai family of the Star Luo Empire. 10,000 years later in the Star Luo Empire, the imperial family changed. The Dai family and Zhu family were driven from the throne, and the Shu family was pushed to the imperial throne instead. By Huo Yuhao's generation, Huo Yuhao's father, General Dai Hao, was the commander-in-chief of the Star Luo Empire's 3 armies, known as the White Tiger General. However, although General Dai Hao was very strong in war, in terms of relationships, he was undoubtedly a scumbag. General Dai Hao already had a legal wife, yet he still got together with his own maid and fathered an illegitimate son, Huo Yuhao. And that maid, who was Huo Yuhao's mother, was called Huo Yun'er. General Dai Hao was away campaigning year-round, and the household was controlled by his wife. His wife often bullied Huo Yun'er and her son, eventually driving Huo Yuhao's mother to her death. In the end, Huo Yuhao took the token left by his mother, the White Tiger Dagger, and left the Dai family, preparing to become stronger and seek power to take revenge on General Dai Hao in the future. That is roughly the backstory. In any case, we must first establish a definitive characterization, Huo Yuhao's hatred for his father, General Dai Hao. This point will be a key focus when we critique the finale. Huo Yuhao's spirit is the spiritual I, which is actually an I. It is a type of body spirit, mainly related to mental force. After leaving the Dai family, the first place Huo Yuhao went to was the Stardo Great Forest, preparing to find a spirit beast to become his first spirit ring. When he first arrived at the Stardo Great Forest, Huo Yuhao started catching and grilling fish to find something to eat, and right at the beginning, he met the 2 supporting characters, Tang-ya and Bei-bei. Tang-ya was directly attracted by Huo Yuhao's grilled fish. This grilled fish business is another key point. It will be revisited later amidst Huo Yuhao's entanglements with multiple girls. After Huo Yuhao and Tang-ya shared the grilled fish and got to know each other, they entered the Stardo Great Forest and encountered a spirit beast called a wind baboon. Because he had no strength, Huo Yuhao used all his might to defeat the wind baboon. A white spirit ring appeared, and he prepared to absorb it. Hey, it was at this moment that Huo Yuhao's cheat finally appeared. Suddenly, a million-year-old spirit beast called the N.A.N. ice worm appeared in his mind. After introducing himself, the N.A.N. ice worm explained that he was originally an ordinary ice silkworm, but after consuming a large amount of mysterious ice marrow in the far north, he evolved all the way into a million-year-old spirit beast. He was originally captured by a bunch of vicious beasts in the Stardo Great Forest to be drained, but he managed to escape with great difficulty. In short, after talking for a while, he decided to sacrifice himself to Huo Yuhao. Starting off with a million-year-old spirit beast sacrifice, and he could even keep his soul inside Huo Yuhao's body, later accompanying Huo Yuhao to become a god. It's equivalent to an investment. I can only say, good, good, good. He is truly worthy of being the child of luck, starting off with a million-year-old spirit beast sacrifice. The cheat was so afraid it wouldn't arrive fast enough. And besides the N.A.N. iceworm, another soul entity appeared. It was Electrolux from the neighboring throne of Seal World who teleported here. Electrolux is a monster nearing a demigod. He's even more exaggerated than the N.A.N. iceworm. Are you kidding me? Are you sure this is a spirit master? He starts with max level gear right out of the gate. With these 2 alone, Huo Yuhao doesn't need to worry about anything for the rest of his life. Chapter 197, Tang-ya is thrilled. Picked up a future divinity at the start. Du Guyan, no way, this Huo Yuhao has such a huge cheat at the start. Bing Bing is polite, I'm honestly speechless. Just after being bullied by the Dai family, he immediately encounters a million-year spirit beast that offers itself up for sacrifice. BB Gong, hey, I'd like to see how far his hatred can take him. Wait, a million-year soul ring. BB Gong, I've worked myself to the bone in Spirit Hall for so many years, yet I'm not as lucky as this child. Calm and composed, let's analyze this rationally. This is no longer a matter of luck. Calm and composed N.A.N. iceworm saw potential in his mental force, but the question is, how old is he? Where did this potential come from? Hot girl, is there a possibility that some people are just born to be protagonists? Hot girl, I'm jealous, I'm really jealous. A million-year spirit beast throwing itself at him. What kind of Mary Sue plot is this? Du Guyan, and it says later on he also meets that Electrolux. This light screen says he's a demigod. Du Guyan, a demigod. Is this considered a normal development path? He moved directly into his sea of consciousness. I am an orphan. I am an orphan, we're both children without fathers, so why can't I encounter a demigod grandpa? Auspicious snow in the forest. Wait, is Huo Yuhao planning to perform dual cultivation with abilities from another world in the Spirit Master system? Auspicious snow in the forest. Is this reasonable? Is this scientific? This actually seems quite exciting. Huo Yun'er, could the Huo Yuhao they are talking about really be my Yuhao? Huo Yun'er, why would he leave the Dai family? He must have suffered a lot. Bing Bing is polite. Mama Huo, why are you rushing? He did have a rough time earlier, but look, isn't he taking off now? Bibi Dong, to be precise, he's taking off fueled by hatred for his father. Bibi Dong, hatred plus a cheat, this combination often leads to the fastest growth. Calm and composed, but I still can't figure out how someone of Electrolux's level could take a fancy to a child. Calm and composed, this isn't just a cheat anymore, it's like he opened an entire supermarket of cheats. Hot girl, and Tianmeng Iceworm even said, I have finally waited for you. Why does that sound like it waited a million years just for him? Hot girl, did Huo Yuhao save the Duluo continent in his past life? Huo Yun'er, but he's still so young. A million-year spirit beast, the power of a demigod, can he really handle it? Huo Yun'er, I would rather he be safe and sound, I don't want any of this. Du Guyan, Mama Huo, that's not how it works. Others would kill to have this. Du Guyan, but then again, no mother wants to see her child suffer. I am an orphan. I am an orphan. Suddenly I'm a bit envious of Huo Yuhao, at least there's someone worrying about him. Auspicious snow in the forest. Sigh, don't talk about it anymore, or I'm going to start doubting life. Auspicious snow in the forest. Some people are born in Rome, some reach Rome the moment they leave home, and where are we? We're in the comments section. Auspicious snow in the forest. I think I finally understand why Tang-san wants to target Huo Yuhao. This guy is truly cheating. In the special space. The content on the light screen was clear. Huo Yun'er was still standing in the same spot, motionless. So this was the kind of life Yuhao lived after she died. Sleeping in the woodshed, getting beaten for stealing steamed buns, being bullied like a dog by those so-called brothers and sisters. She came from that household, she knew what those words meant. General Dai Hao, she whispered the name, her voice bitter. He is your son, your own biological son. No one answered her, she was alone in this space. She remembered entrusting Yuhao to that person before she died, and that person had nodded. She thought a nod was a promise, thought that no matter how cold-hearted he was, he wouldn't mistreat his own flesh and blood. She was wrong. It's Mother's fault, she murmured. Mother shouldn't have left you there. However, seeing the reviews on the light screen about Huoyuhao having a million-year spirit beast, and Electrolux, she froze. She didn't understand the concept of a million years, but she understood the meaning. That frail child was being supported by light, someone was helping him, something was helping him. Her tense shoulders slumped, and the tears that had been swirling in her eyes for so long finally fell. Good, good, she wiped her face messily. If someone is helping you, Mother can rest easy. Mother was just afraid of you holding on all by yourself, afraid that no one would love you. She spoke softly to the light screen, to her unseen son. Yuhao, Mother doesn't ask for anything else. Don't hate them, don't waste your energy hating those people. Live well, grow up, marry a good girl, and live your own life. Don't be like Mother, trapped in hatred for a lifetime. She paused, her voice softening. As long as you are safe and sound, it doesn't matter where Mother is. Duluo Tuera. Outside the Shrek Academy dormitory. Wang Donger slapped the stone railing, vibrating her arm until it went numb. Million year. She turned to Tangya and Xiao Xiao, her voice rising 2 octaves. His first spirit ring is a million-year one. It's a million years, not 100 or 1,000. Tangya leaned against the doorframe, her legs sliding down a bit before she steadied herself. When I picked him up, he was just a poor student without a background. When I told him about the Tang sect, his eyes were shining like stars. She swallowed hard. And it turns out he had a million-year-old big bug living inside him. And a demigod guiding him on the side. Is the person I picked up even human? Xiao Xiao crossed her arms, her knuckles digging into her sleeves. No wonder he was so desperate during the freshman assessment, risking his life. She lowered her voice. He completely had a safety net. Wang Donger turned around, the expression on her face becoming complex. A million-year soul ring, guidance from a demigod, this starting point is even higher than Tang San's back in the lower realm. Tangya stood up straight abruptly. He's only at 1 ring. There are still 8 spots left. By the time his spirit rings are full, he will be the only one on the entire Duluo continent with a million-year soul ring. Xiao Xiao narrowed her eyes. That's why Tang San had to guard against him. Someone who crawled up from the bottom, filled with hatred, yet with such a high starting point. If such a person really grows up. Wang Donger continued. Then it's not something anyone can control. If I were my father, I would have to do the same. Either subdue him or get rid of him. The 3 of them fell silent for a moment. Tangya suddenly slapped her thigh. Then we have to win him over even more. Wang Donger looked at her. What can Shrek Academy give him? Resources, education, but did he rely on Shrek to get to where he is today? He relied on that bug's sacrifice, he relied on that demigod's guidance. Tangya's eyes brightened. But when I recruited him into the Tang sect, he didn't know anything. Back then, he couldn't even get enough to eat. I gave him a path, and he will remember me for a lifetime. Xiao Xiao nodded. He is a person who remembers favors. Wang Donger looked up at the night sky, and after a long while, she said, if he can really grow up, he might be the only one on the entire continent who has a chance to surpass Tang San. Tangya lowered her voice. So we must make him understand that Shrek isn't his home, and the Dai family certainly isn't either. We are his own people. Wang Donger smiled, a smile that was a bit complex and a bit expectant. I really didn't expect that the clumsy Huoyuhao was actually a dormant dragon. This is going to be interesting. Tangya rubbed her hands and paced in place. We've found a treasure, we've found a treasure. From today on, Huoyuhao's business is my business, it's the Tang sect's business. Chapter 198, Joining the sect after a few sweet talks. Tangya and Huo the protagonist are both idiots. In the light screen. And now that Huoyuhao has obtained 2 huge cheats, he should be entering the plot. Closing square bracket. However, one has to wonder if something is wrong with Huoyuhao's brain. Closing square bracket. After obtaining the spirit ring, Tangya and Bebe tracked him down again to invite Huoyuhao to join the Tang sect. Closing square bracket. As a result, this idiot Huoyuhao, having just obtained a million-year soul ring and carrying cheats in his pocket, how could his brain just short-circuit? Closing square bracket. Tangya just said, the Tang sect has a cultivation technique that suits you, and you didn't even ask what the cultivation technique was called before you knelt down. Closing square bracket. Huoyuhao, oh Huoyuhao, you are a person who wants revenge. Do you not know that there is something in this world called due diligence? Or a process called auditing? Closing square bracket. What is the situation with the Tang sect right now? There are only 2 people, one foodie girl, and one who is at most a spirit elder. Put them together and you can't even make up a table for mahjong. Closing square bracket. You dare to join just like that? How can you be so careless? That million-year soul ring added to your mental force, but didn't add to your judgment, did it? Closing square bracket. Tanya is also quite the talent. Her reason for the invitation was actually, your grilled fish is delicious. Good heavens, when did the Tang sect switch to the catering industry? Closing square bracket. Don't you find it absurd to say such a purpose out loud? Closing square bracket. What's even funnier is that these two people still solemnly praise Huo Yuhao as mature and steady. Closing square bracket. Where's the maturity, where's the steadiness, just because he didn't ask for the grilled fish recipe on the spot? Closing square bracket. A kid in his early teens, who has known you for less than 2 days, doesn't even know what specific industries your sect has, and sells himself out because of one empty promise. You call this mature? Closing square bracket. This is called being easily fooled. Closing square bracket. Bebe and Tanya were still sighing there. He is more mature than an adult. Big brother, have you never seen an adult, or do you have some misunderstanding about what maturity is? Closing square bracket. No wonder the Tang sect could decline like this under Tanya's hands. With this logic of selecting people, if they were recruiting at a company, the HR would have been fired 800 times. Closing square bracket. If you had taken a fancy to Huo Yuhao's million-year soul ring, 3 life spirit, or mental attributes, that would count as having a good eye. But you were after his grilled fish. After grilled fish. Closing square bracket. Huo Yuhao is even more incredible. Clearly bearing a deep blood feud, having just started cheating and obtained top-tier configuration, he ends up being crippled by an empty shell company with only 2 people left. Closing square bracket. We have a cultivation technique here that suits you. What is the difference between this and, come work with me, year-end bonus? The pie is drawn quite round, you should at least look at the current status of the company. Closing square bracket. What does the Tang sect have now? Is there a legacy? Are there resources? Are there fixed assets? There's nothing, just a loud signboard and 2 poor students. Closing square bracket. As a result, he didn't ask anything and just bowed down. N.A.N iceworm in his spirit ring must be so angry he's spiraling into the sky. My million years of cultivation, and I found such a brainless host. Closing square bracket. This move by Tanya is also a confusing show. Earlier she was talking about reviving the Tang sect, and now she's selecting people based on grilled fish. Closing square bracket. According to this standard, the Tang sect revival conference should be held at the night market. Whoever's barbecue stall has the best business is the next sect leader. Closing square bracket. As long as you grill fish well, you are the successor of the Tang sect. If this slogan is shouted out, the Tang sect might have to change into a cooking training school. Closing square bracket. The most brazen part is that all 3 of them think they have earned it. Tanya thinks she got a cook for free, Bebe thinks he got an obedient little brother, and Huo Yuhao thinks he found an organization. Closing square bracket. But if you say Huo Yuhao is stupid, he did indeed grow up later. But if you say he is sharp, this operation of joining the Tang sect looks like he was sold and helped count the money. Closing square bracket. Fortunately, Huo Yuhao really has the protagonist halo. If it were an ordinary person, this move would directly reset his life to 0. Closing square bracket. ... Du Guyan, no, he just joined like that. A bowl of grilled fish in exchange for a Tang sect disciple, this deal is too cost-effective. Bing Bing is polite. Huo Yuhao, aren't you looking for revenge? Such a big matter, why not investigate it? What if the Tang sect's cultivation technique doesn't suit you? Bibi Dong, 2 people are called a sect. To put it bluntly, it's a wandering group. He actually dared to join, that takes courage. Calm and composed, I just calculated it. From the moment Tanya opened her mouth to the moment Huo Yuhao nodded, it took no more than 10 sentences. This decision was made faster than me ordering takeout. Hot girl Tanya is also amazing. Reviving the Tang sect relies on, your grilled fish is delicious, to recruit people. I thought there was some shocking inspection standard. Needle-tailed swift, a potential stock with a million-year soul ring, led away by a grilled fish. Who would believe it if told? I am an orphan. Huo Yuhao, wake up. You can't even get your own revenge, and you're running off to help others revive their sect. Can you take care of yourself first? Auspicious snow in the forest. They too are still praising Huo Yuhao for being mature. Where's the maturity? Is it mature to eat grilled fish without spitting out the bones? Goddess of light, for this move, I can only say that the crouching dragon and phoenix chick have come together. One dares to accept, and the other dares to join. Eternal angel, the Tang sect has this kind of vision. No wonder there are only 2 people left. If they recruit a few more grilled fish stall owners, they might be able to expand to 5. Du Guyan, the most absurd thing is that they both look moved, feeling like they met the right person. My god, do you have some misunderstanding about each other? Bibi Dong, with this brain of Huo Yuhao, how will he get revenge in the future? Relying entirely on recklessness. Calm and composed, if you ask me, Tanya's idea of revival is wrong. She should go open a grilled fish shop. Maybe she could really save enough money to rebuild the mountain gate. Hot girl laughed to death. If the ancestors of the Tang sect knew that their descendants were recruiting apprentices by eating grilled fish, they wouldn't be able to keep their coffin lids down. Auspicious Snow in the forest. Bebe is still standing there looking gratified. Gratified about what? Gratified that your junior sister finally learned how to use food to bribe people. I am an orphan. Suddenly feel that Huo Yuhao's enemies don't need to worry. With this IQ, he can screw himself to death. Needle-tailed swift summary. 1 dares to offer, 1 dares to accept, 2 dare to praise, 3 dare to believe. Everyone is living in their own world. Goddess of light. The most miserable thing is the million-year soul ring. Following such a master, the future is worrying. Eternal angel. I suggest renaming the Tang sect to the fish sect. At least the name sounds more realistic. Du Guyan. When Huo Yuhao thinks back to today, he will probably want to slap himself twice. Why was I so blinded back then? Bing Bing is polite. Forget it, forget it. They are happy themselves, why should we worry? It's just a pity for that million-year soul ring. Bibi Dong. 1 really dares to recruit, 1 really dares to join. Doesn't Tanya feel ashamed saying, the Tang sect needs you? You can barely feed yourself. Du Guyan. Huo Yuhao's inner thoughts. Finally someone wants me. What sect it is doesn't matter, what matters is that someone is taking me in. Calm and composed. Tanya's inner thoughts. Finally someone joined. What conditions don't matter, what matters is that he ate my grilled fish. Chapter 199. Appraisal complete. The Tang sect comes with a debuff to intelligence. Auspicious Snow in the forest. Bebe's inner thoughts. Finally, I have a junior brother. It doesn't matter how strong he is, what matters is that I don't have to carry this alone anymore. Needle-tailed swift. The 3 of them were scheming so loudly, they managed to turn mutual sabotage into mutual achievement. I am an orphan. Huo Yuhao, I want revenge. Tanya, come help us revive the Tang sect. Huo Yuhao, alright, this logic, even ghosts wouldn't understand. Goddess of light. If that's how the Tang sect is revived, I'll go set up a stall too. Maybe I could recruit a dozen disciples. Eternal angel. The saddest part is the Tang sect's future recruitment standard. Please, first treat me to a grilled fish. Du Guyan. Tanya just said the Tang sect had a cultivation technique suitable for him. She said it casually, and Huo Yuhao just believed her. This trust came faster than a tornado. Hot girl. I suspect Huo Yuhao was dazed by the aroma of the grilled fish and his brain hadn't cleared up yet. Bibi Dong. Forget it, stop roasting them. In any case, Huo Yuhao will eventually become a god king, and the Tang sect will be revived. We're just worrying for nothing. Du Guyan. That may be true, but it doesn't stop me from wanting to scold him a couple of times to wake him up. Auspicious Snow in the forest. Huo Yuhao, I got scammed based on my own ability. Is that any of your business? Bing Bing is polite. Let's disperse, let's disperse. One is willing to scam, the other is willing to be scammed. We're just here for the entertainment. Peaceful and calm. One last thing. Tanya, can you add more criteria for recruiting disciples in the future? At least ask what his spirit is, don't just look at the taste of the grilled fish. Du Guyan. Seconded. Otherwise, the Tang sect will really turn into the grilled fish faction. Eternal angel. Huo Yuhao. Reflecting in the future, the most reckless decision I've ever made in my life was eating that grilled fish that day. Goddess of light. And then it decided his whole life. This grilled fish, it was worth it. ... Duluo Tuera. Outside the Shrek Academy dormitory. The sounds of mockery from the light screen had just died down, and the air seemed to have been sucked dry. Tanya stood where she was, her face burning instantly, even the tips of her ears turning red. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Wang Donger's beautiful eyes were wide open, her gaze as if she wanted to stare a hole through Tanya. She reached out, pointing at the light screen, then pointing at Tanya, her fingers trembling. Senior sister, you recruited him into the Tang sect just for this. Just to eat grilled fish. Xiao Xiao stood by the side, her mouth open wide enough to fit an egg, and only managed to squeeze out a sentence after a long while. Senior sister Tanya, is that for real? Tanya was so embarrassed she wished there was a crack in the ground to crawl into. She waved her hands frantically. It's not what you think. I was a bit hungry for grilled fish at the time, but that wasn't the only reason. Wang Donger raised her eyebrows high. Not only because of that, then what was it for? Tanya stamped her feet in anxiety. At that time, I saw him running into the Stardew Great Forest all by himself. He was quite courageous. And he even helped me drive away the bad guys. I thought he was pretty good. Xiao Xiao and Wang Donger looked at each other, the words, "Don't believe it," clearly written on their faces. Wang Donger put her hands on her hips. Forget it, I think you were just craving his cooking skills. You say you are a Tang sect master, and you recruit people just because of a momentary craving. You were too reckless. Xiao Xiao nodded in agreement, patting her chest with a look of lingering fear. Exactly. The luck you two have is truly amazing. One dared to open her mouth, the other dared to agree. He followed you after you said 2 words, without even asking about his background. If you had met a bad person, seen your sister Tanya, you would have been sold and still be helping them count the money. The more Wang Donger thought about it, the angrier she got, and her voice rose. And that Huo Yuhao, is something wrong with his brain too. He meets someone on the road, they say, join our sect, and he actually believes it. And he just happily followed along. What kind of brain is that? Xiao Xiao also said, right, what if they were bad people? What if they were scammers tricking children into digging coal? What if they were an evil soul master? Didn't he think about that? Tanya's face alternated between red and white as she was being lectured, and finally, she deflated, her voice dropping. Quote. I know. Thinking about it now, it is quite scary. I was too eager to revitalize the Tang sect at the time, and when I saw someone I liked, I just. She sighed, her voice carrying a hint of relief after a narrow escape. It was really lucky that we met good people. If we had really run into bad guys, who knows what would have happened to us. Wang Donger rolled her eyes at her. Good that you know, be more careful in the future. In the special space. Huo Yun'er's hands were gripping her collar tightly, her knuckles turning white. She stared at those faces on the light screen, listening to those words, her heart feeling like it was being fiercely pinched, sinking little by little. Followed them after just 2 sentences. What if he ran into bad people? Sold and still helping them count the money. Every word felt like a needle pricking her heart. She closed her eyes, and the face of young Huo Yuhao flickered before her. Such a small child, thin, but with bright eyes. When she was alive, she could still protect him, teach him to distinguish right from wrong, and tell him there were bad people outside and not to go with strangers. But how long had she been gone? He had. Huo Yun'er opened her eyes abruptly, her eye sockets already red. Silly child, why were you so silly? Her voice was trembling, her throat feeling as if it were blocked by something. You believed whatever people said. You went when they told you to. What if? What if that person wasn't Tanya, but a bad person? What if that person tricked you and wanted to harm you? The more she thought about it, the more afraid she became, her whole body trembling slightly. When mother was alive, I should have taught you more about these things. I should have told you more that the human heart is sinister, and not to trust people easily. Tears finally couldn't be held back, rolling down her cheeks. It's mother's fault, it's mother who left too early, leaving you alone, not knowing anything, not understanding anything, just daring to follow people away. She raised her hand to cover her face, her shoulders shaking violently. You silly child, if something happened to you, how could mother live on the other side? Indeed, no one could have imagined that Huo the protagonist, who could achieve the rank of God King in the future, could be so stupid. Furthermore, this Huo Yuhao would specialize in mental force in the future, yet his IQ didn't increase even a little bit. Each of the female characters watching could only feel that this kid probably wasn't a normal person. And this was just the beginning, the subsequent problems for Huo Yuhao would be no less than Tang San's. The sharp commentary on the light screen never stopped and continued. On the light screen. From here, you can almost see the power of this grilled fish of Huo Yuhao's. To be precise, this grilled fish is almost one of Huo the protagonist's greatest means of attracting women. Afterwards, Huo Yuhao followed Tanya and the others to Shrek. Once at Shrek, Huo Yuhao's preference for double standards was also fully displayed. Chapter 200. New students, not fighting is a crime. Shrek's values are garbage. First of all, regarding enrollment, Huo Yuhao's move truly won at the starting line. When others have a transmigration or rebirth start as a dragon overlord, he, on the other hand, relied on Tang Sect connections to become a special recruit and squeeze into Shrek Academy. As soon as he arrived at the dormitory, he met Wang Dong and was immediately pressed onto the floor and rubbed into the dirt. What happened to the trash turning the tables? This opening is too realistic. At least he dared to fight back, I'll give you credit for having guts. After the two finished fighting, they ended up getting to know each other through the fight. As a result, as soon as the homeroom teacher, Zhou Yi, started class, she began pulling stunts. I heard this teacher was demoted from the senior grades. She looks like she has problems. Zhou Yi came up and asked the new students, who has fought before? Only Huo Yuhao and Wang Dong raised their hands in the whole class. Then she got excited and said something like, not daring to cause trouble is for the mediocre. Good heavens, is it a mistake for normal students not to fight when they first enroll? What kind of hooligan logic is this? The most absurd part is the method of punishment, running laps. Running laps again, do the people of Duluo continent only have running laps left in their brains? Back then, Yu Shaoqing trained Tang San by making him run laps, and 10,000 years later, they are still running laps. Is your Shrek training method cursed? 100 laps, and with a time limit. I heard a lap is several hundred meters, that's tens of thousands of meters, brothers. Is this training students or livestock? As a result, an even more outrageous move came. Those who can't finish are expelled immediately. Wait, Zhou, as a homeroom teacher, aren't you overstepping your bounds? Does the admissions office's business have anything to do with you? You say expel and they get expelled. Then, to highlight how powerful Huo Yuhao and Wang Dong are, a group of new students acted like idiots and slacked off instead of running. I'm just baffled, how did this bunch manage to get into the continent's top academy? Did they all get in through the back door? They don't even understand the simple rule of running laps on time. 9 people were expelled on the spot. They hadn't even warmed their seats after enrolling. Just because they didn't run laps fast enough, they got kicked out. This is too magical. The most ridiculous part is Huo Yuhao, he couldn't have finished those 100 laps himself. It was all thanks to Wang Dong activating her spirit at the end to drag him to the finish line. What happened to the hardworking good student? It turns out someone was cheating to carry him. When Zhou Yi saw Wang Dong's radiant goddess butterfly spirit, her eyes lit up, and she tacitly allowed the help. Oh, so as long as your spirit is badass enough, cheating can be turned a blind eye to. What happened to being impartial? This double standard is played too well. So isn't this the trope? Ordinary students slacking off equals expulsion, protagonist cheating equals pass. Teacher Zhou, you truly deserve to be demoted from the senior grades, you really have skills. In the end, Huo Yuhao's ability to pass relied on Wang Dong's rare spirit and his identity as a Tang sect special recruit. This isn't a trash turning the tables, it's clearly a connected person cheating, and yet it has to be packaged as a hardworking persona. It makes me cringe so hard. 10,000 years have passed, and Shrek is still that same Shrek. Only knowing how to run laps, only knowing double standards, only knowing how to give the green light to the protagonist. Can this academy become the continent's best because of the incompetence of its peers? Songyi wrote these things, especially that Huo Yuhao didn't even finish the 100 laps, yet by relying on Wang Donger's help, he was able to pass. If others slacked off and ran 2 or 3 laps less, it was a problem. As a result, Huo Yuhao ran who knows how many laps less, but because he is the protagonist, it's not a problem. Watching this kind of operation, every single female character is speechless. Du Guyan, good heavens, what kind of weirdo is this Zhou Yi? The first thing she asks upon enrollment is who has fought before. Those who haven't are punished with 100 laps. What kind of logic is this? Bing Bing is polite, not daring to cause trouble is for the mediocre. Is it really normal for these words to come out of a homeroom teacher's mouth? Is she a teacher or a street gang leader? BB Dong, hey, in a world where the strong are respected, there is indeed no need for the cowardly, but using, not having fought, as a standard for punishment is too childish. Are the administrators of this school just for show? Calm and composed, let's analyze this calmly. Shrek Academy is supposed to be the continent's top academy, is its admission standard really this childish? A homeroom teacher can just expel someone on a whim. Hot girl, exactly, those students worked so hard to get in, and they got kicked out just because they didn't run enough laps. That's too miserable. Does Zhou Yi have that much power? Needle-tailed Swift and this training method, running laps again. Running laps from the Yu Shaogang era, and still running laps 10,000 years later. Is the physical education of Duluo continent stuck in a loop? I am an orphan. The most absurd part is that only Huo Yuhao and Wang Dong are finished. Are the others idiots? They know they will be expelled yet they still slack off. Is that the IQ of people who manage to get into Shrek? Auspicious snow in the forest. Actually, it's not that the others are stupid, it's that the author forces them to be stupid. How else can the protagonist's perseverance be highlighted? It's just that these plot devices are treated too miserably. Eternal Angel, the double standard scene is even more spectacular. If Huo Yuhao didn't have Wang Donger's help, could he have finished? Yet he can do it while others can't. This protagonist halo is way too obvious. Most loyal believer of the Sea God, I'll ask on behalf of Lord Sea God, does this Zhou Yi have a grudge against the admissions office? She kicks out students they admitted whenever she wants, who is actually in charge of this academy. Du Guyan, anyway, I've figured it out. Shrek Academy doesn't look at talent or potential, it only looks at whether you can run. I suggest renaming it to Shrek Track and Field Team. Duluo 2 era. Outside the Shrek Academy dormitory. The three looked at the review on the light screen, their expressions indescribable. Is this teacher sick? Tanya exploded, students who don't fight are trash. Wang Donger held her forehead. I finally remembered why I regretted fighting Huo Yuhao back then. I was afraid of being bullied, so I struck first. I always felt I was in the wrong. Turns out the homeroom teacher thinks this is the right way. She just thinks you fought well, Tanya sneered, it would be best if you tore down the dormitory. Xiao Xiao, I hate her. Who doesn't hate her? Wang Donger rolled her eyes, running laps on the first day of reporting. Do we owe her something? Tanya scoffed. Zhou Yi's reputation has always been bad. She was demoted from the senior grades, otherwise, would she be able to lead the new students? Deserved, Xiao Xiao said. Wang Donger shook her head. I felt it was wrong when I fought that time. But the homeroom teacher says that not fighting makes you trash. Does she think I should have beaten Huo Yuhao out of the dormitory to be qualified? She wants you to fight every day, until you drop out, Tang Ya said. Brain dead, Xiao Xiao summarized. Wang Donger stared at the light screen, silent for a moment. I want to know what's inside her head right now. Truly brain dead. Chapter 201, Helping someone cheat to win a competition. Huo the protagonist character is pretty rotten too. Water, Xiao Xiao said. Dregs, Tang Ya said. Wang Donger laughed, then stopped laughing. We agreed, no matter how she kicks up a fuss, don't follow her madness. Fighting doesn't solve problems, even a 3-year-old understands that. Xiao Xiao nodded. Fine, Tang Ya shrugged, if she dares to mess around, I'll go tell the dean. Wang Donger looked at the light screen, then at the two people beside her, and turned around. Let's go, we still have to run laps tomorrow. How unlucky, Tang Ya muttered. Xiao Xiao didn't speak, but stomped her feet hard as she walked. The three watched, their complaints endless, truly speechless. However, after the complaints, they continued to watch. Huo the protagonist's sharp commentary later would be the key. ... In the light screen. After completely integrating into life at Shrek Academy, Huo Yuhao began his days of selling grilled fish to make money. After all, he was a pauper, so he could only bring out grilled fish. Might as well call him the grilled fish Guluo from now on. However, even selling a grilled fish could go wrong. Originally 5 copper coins each, a normal transaction. As a result, a N.A.N popped up, insisting on getting a discount, saying she would only pay 3 copper coins. You think 5 copper coins for a grilled fish is expensive? N.A.N, are you trying to run a charity stall? Huo Yuhao gets up early in the morning to kill fish and scrape scales, controlling the heat perfectly, and you open your mouth to slash the price by 40%, why don't you go rob a fried fish vendor instead? And the key point is, even if Huo Yuhao didn't give N.A.N a discount, it was just 1 grilled fish. N.A.N didn't even care that much, just thinking she'd talk about it next time. But at this moment, a Shu Sanchi suddenly jumped out, and because Huo Yuhao wouldn't give his goddess N.A.N a discount, he wanted to cause trouble. He threw a tantrum directly and even wanted to flip Huo Yuhao's stall. Shu Sanchi, was your brain caught in a door? Your goddess failed to haggle.